Welcome everyone to tonight's webinar. My name is Shah Moore and I'm the founder of the Y Group of companies. Tonight's webinar is entitled One Life, One Purpose, the top 5 ways to find your purpose in life. And I'm nicknamed the Y Woman, and I think that's because when I meet people for the first time, instead of the age-old question that we ask people when we meet them for the first time being, hey, what do you do? I'm known to walk into a room of strangers and walk up to someone and ask them, why do you do what you do? Personally, for me, I believe that it's better to connect with someone that you meet based on why they do what they do, why they get out of bed. I would rather start a relationship based on knowing their why than I would knowing what they do. When we ask people a what question, we take them straight to their head. I want to ask them a why question so that they go straight to their heart. I would much rather have a quality conversation based on someone who is deeply connected to why they do what they do. The what, the how, the when will come later. But firstly, tell me why you do what you do. So I guess that's why I got nicknamed the Y Woman. And it's kind of stuck. So I had to get a little caricature done, because if you're going to be the Y Woman, I just figured that you must have a cape and a few little sparkly bits. So I got myself a little caricature done, and that's the Y Woman that you're seeing in the bottom of the screen. So tonight's webinar is one of the topics that I am extremely passionate about, because I get to meet a lot of business owners on my travels. I do a lot of speaking and traveling on the east coast of Australia. I do a lot of networking. And I come across a lot of business owners that are typically stuck in a pattern, in a rut. And I call it that they're living their life on a treadmill, and they're constantly moving forward, but quite often not getting very far. So tonight's webinar is to share some of the top tips and strategies that I use when I work with my clients one-on-one, or when I take them onto the workshop that I run down on the Gold Coast. And I really want to encourage you tonight that even if you've done work like this before, even if you think that you know your purpose in life, even if you have already done a program like this, I just want you to pretend that you don't know anything about this type of work. You don't know anything about how to find your purpose in life. Because sometimes, even myself, I will book into webinars and courses and go to workshops, even if I think I'm quite proficient in that topic. Because when we go in with the mindset that we know everything, guess what? We learn nothing. But if we go with the mindset of I can learn something here tonight, you've taken time out of your night to be on this webinar with me. Thank you for that. But let's also make sure that that you are open-minded, so that you know something may just trigger tonight. And it's the same thing as when we read a book. You could have read a book years ago, and then you pick it up now, and because you're in a different stage of your journey and in your life, you may find that there is information in that book that you didn't see before. So before I get stuck into the actual webinar, I just want to check that the sound is okay and that you can see the screen. So could someone just send me a little quick message just to let me know that you can see the screen and that the sound is okay? Okay, just waiting on the comments. Sorry, there is a slight delay on here. So I just want to make sure before I get stuck into it and share all my gems that everyone can hear me. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're good to go. Welcome everyone that's here tonight. And some of you have been on the webinar before and some of you are new. And I think there's still some people logging in. But I'm going to get started because I believe that You're here on time, let's start. And also we have so much to cover. So I never normally finish on time, but I really want to do my best to do that because I know you're all busy. So I just want to go through and cover the 5 top tips and strategies that I use to help people uncover their why. So we're going to look at them firstly as an overview, and then I'm going to take you through each one in a lot more detail. So make sure you've got pen and paper handy, because sometimes it could be that strategy that you write down, and other times it could be an idea that pops into your head. When you hear what I'm saying, something else might trigger. Either way is good, but just make sure you jot it down, because sometimes the ideas fairy will come and steal it away from you as quickly as it gave it to you. The first thing that we're going to look at is to find your purpose in life, or your genius zone. It's important to look at what you love doing. You don't ever want to go in to do something, especially for a long period of time, that you don't really get excited about and absolutely love to do. If anyone has met me, and for those that haven't, I really hope I get the pleasure of meeting you somewhere this year, you will know within a few minutes of meeting me that I'm quite passionate about helping other people find their flow. And I'm extremely passionate about opening my orphanage in Thailand. And I absolutely love what I do. And I do find it difficult to call it work, because work for me resonates when I used to be in the corporate industry and I had to go and do the things that I was doing in my job because my boss told me to do it. And I loved it, but I didn't love it. So I do find it hard to call it work. So I call it now doing my thing, because it's something that I absolutely love to do. I'm blessed to get paid for it, but it's something I would most definitely do for free when I can justify it and the orphanage is open. So you have to look at what you love to do. So just jot that down and we're going to come back to it. The second thing on the list of my tips is, it's a place when you're living your why and you're in your flow, it's a place that you go to where you're really lost in your own bubble, and your bubble protects you from everything around you. It allows you to roll wherever you need to roll. You can see so clearly out of your bubble. There's no restrictions, there's no cloudiness, there's no shadows. It's like wearing armor that's built and designed just for your body shape. And it contours every part of your body, and it provides this beautiful barrier around you that allows you to stay in your own space. And I want to talk to you more about that in just a moment. The third tip is, you could find your purpose in life, your genius, so hidden away, possibly in a secret diary. It could be a place or a journal, a book that you keep locked up somewhere that only you see. They might be thoughts that you share just to yourself, and you don't allow anyone else to see them because you may feel fearful that they may encourage you to do them, but you might also feel like, well, I'm not really good enough already yet, so I'll just keep them to myself. So there's some clues in that as well, and we're going to touch on that in just a moment. The fourth way to find your true purpose in life, I believe, is listening, and I mean truly listening, about what others say about you. And I don't want these comments to be what we call a Teflon moment. Teflon, as we know, is non-stick and things slide off you. And that's great when you're having heated conversations with loved ones or partners or business people, and you need to bring the elephant into the room, have a Teflon moment, say what you need to say, let everything slide off and get back to it. That's wonderful in those moments. But in this particular instance, when you have conversations with your loved ones, your friends, your partners, mums, dads, aunties, uncles, whoever, when they actually give you a compliment, I actually want you to listen to it and take it on board. Don't reflect it. Don't reject it. And I'm going to cover that because this is really important at this point, because they are giving you all the clues of what they see in you that you don't see or don't believe. And the fifth thing that I believe is looking at what we call your genius zone. And this term has been bandied around for a while. And I do like the term because I do think it summarizes clearly what your genius zone is all about. So your Genius Zone essentially is a gift and a talent that's been given to you that's very unique. Hasn't been given to anyone else in the same fashion that it's been given to you. And it's something that you do effortlessly. And I had a conversation with a client today, and they sort of said, oh, but doesn't everyone know this about what we were talking about? And I said, not at all. Because for you, it's your Genius Zone. So for you, it comes naturally, and it's like, wow, doesn't everyone know how to do this? And that's because it's your gift. And there are some dangers that come with that, which I'm going to share with you tonight. But before we get into expanding on all of my 5 strategies in a lot more detail, I just want to take a moment and share with you what the next steps are. Because quite often I find with webinars like this, and I love webinars and I'm on quite a few of them, but I think the days of, I believe, have gone where you get to the end of the webinar and you know that the last slide is going to be some kind of next step or sell-in. And personally, I don't like that for a few reasons. One, I would rather know up front what is available so that I can forget about it and concentrate on the content, because there are some incredibly engaging and content-packed webinars out there that you can really get some great tips off that are free. And we all know that nothing comes free in life, because all of this content, it's not a magic pill. You don't leave this webinar and go, a genie, you know, flashes her wand and off you go living your merry life. There is obviously work to be done and processes that need to take place. And it's something that you've been looking for your whole life. So it's not going to be found in an hour, but you're certainly going to learn a lot tonight. So I want to just take you through my next steps so that you can hear them, park them, either make a decision if it feels right, or park it until the end or later and we have a chat, or do nothing with them. But I just want you to know about them so that we can forget about it and concentrate on the content. And I hope that's okay with everyone. So the new Purpose Finder course I launched last month, actually on my dad's birthday. And it means a lot to me to launch it on that day, because my dad always taught me to live to my full potential, doing what I was good at doing. And he knew that I was a people connector. He knew that I loved being around people and helping them. And he always said, oh, you have a tribe of people who follow you anywhere, Puss. And I never believed it, and I never kind of got what he was saying. And it's interesting now, because the brand that I'm creating globally is called Y Tribe. So it's a group of people, a tribe of people who are committed to not only finding and living their why, but helping others. And it just fits beautifully, again, with someone who loved me, who could see my Genius Zone way before I could. He was a very clever man. So I launched this course on his birthday last month. And it's an online course that's actually taken me over 12 months to put together. I've run a few Y weekends now, and I've done a lot of this purpose work with clients individually. And I was able to find out what were the key things that were really getting good results. And I pulled out those essential items and put them into a 6-week fully auto set up course that literally emails you every week, emails you the video, it emails you the content that you can download, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours every week to go through the exercises that I've put into the course. Because again, there's no magic pill. There's work that you need to do on yourself, but there's strategies that you need to implement, and also a lot of things to think about. So there's a guided videos. We also have a closed Facebook support group, because again, questions will come up. And it's nice to know that you're in a closed secret group that no one else knows about, because other people on the course are going to be going through the same thing as you. So why would you do this online course? Here are some things that I know from previous clients that I've done it and I'm working with, and why they did it. So they were worried about never having enough money. That was a real big thing for them, because they were doing something they didn't really enjoy. And therefore, when you do that, money is quite often scarce, because the universe doesn't really back you when you're doing something you're not meant to do. It will kind of always give you just enough. It won't give you the abundance. If you're bored with your daily life, so if you kind of sit there sometimes, you wake up in the morning and you're wondering, wow, is this really all there is? Like, is this all there is to life? Then this course would be great, because it helps you hop off that treadmill. I've launched 100 places at a discounted price for the whole course of 147 Australian dollars for those that are logging in from overseas. And I've just done that because I want to make sure that I can get out to as many people as fast as I can. And then the regular price of the course is only $197. The great thing about this is as soon as you log on to purposefinder.com.au, you will literally get the first week's course instantly, because I want you to start straight away. We're already into early February. And the year, as we know, last year, for those that I've talked to, went extremely fast. Everyone's saying that this year is going to do the same thing. So I just want you to make sure that you're getting the most out of this year, and it doesn't become another New Year's Eve that you toast in with your loved one and your family, regretting the year that was and all the things that you should have done. So if you're ready, jump onto purposefinder.com.au. At least you can watch the video after this webinar. And if the video speaks to you, then you might look at it. For those people that like a more interactive, hands-on workshop, I have the Y weekend that I run on the Gold Coast in 5 weeks' time. It's on the 14th and 15th of March at the Intercon Sanctuary Cove. So you can jump onto findmy.com.au. And again, if that website speaks to you and there are points in there that you go, wow, that's exactly me, then I would absolutely look at doing that. And if you need a payment plan, again, nothing's a problem, just ask me. So guys, I just want you now to take that information down, write the websites down for after. Now I want you to forget about what I've talked about with the Purpose Finder course and the Y weekend. I want you now to focus on the content that I'm about to deliver. And I hope everyone's ready to go, as I can't chat to you live. So hopefully you're still all there and we're ready to get stuck into it. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is look at what you love doing. And as I touched on before, it's about if time and money weren't an issue, what would you be doing right now? So if they weren't things you were worried about, because often when I talk to my clients, and I'm presuming that some of you may be the same, because that's possibly why you're on the webinar tonight, is that you're doing what you're doing because there are bills to pay or things that you want to do with that money. So you're attaching what you're doing to a task that then has to get done so that you can then pay a bill or do something with that. And I know that that is the case for a lot of people. And guys, it was the same for me. I did the same thing for years. I worked myself up in the corporate industry. I was quite a senior manager within one of the largest companies in Thailand, managing 13 spas in 5-star hotels. So I had 500 odd staff. I had 3 children at the time. We'd just adopted our daughter from India. We had 2 boys. My husband was traveling, and I was doing that role to provide the lifestyle that I thought my family needed and wanted. And in that, I got caught up in the corporate lifestyle. Whilst I enjoyed what I didn't love it. So I have done that myself, and maybe you're relating to my story. And if you are, feel free to place a comment in the chat box as we go along, just so that I know, one, you're still there and I'm not sitting in my office talking to myself, which I do a lot, and also that you're getting this and it does resonate with you. And then how many hours a week are you actually doing what you have to do versus what you love to do? And that is a big difference. How many times do you force yourself to go do something in your business or your job that you have to do, versus how many hours a week, if you actually plot out how many hours there are a day, 7 days a week, how many of those are spent doing what you love and what you have to do? And when you do that exercise on a sheet of paper, I think you may find that you're going to be surprised with the result, because you may find that a high percentage of you and a high percentage of your hours are spent doing the have to things rather than the love to things. And that's, you know, that's something that we want to try and shift. And how many years have you done this for? I have some clients in their 50s and they are gorgeous, incredible creatures, but they've said to me many times, Shah, I wish I had found someone like you or this course years ago. I have wasted so many years of my life doing this. and they've had friends that have passed away, and they've had friends that have had health conditions that have propped up in their life because they've lived that life of not loving what they do and resenting and anger and all those issues that cause dis-ease within our body and then cause disease. And unfortunately, they've seen that, and then they've come and found me or the course or something, and now they've stopped the treadmill and they've hopped off. One thing we need to remember is that we don't own tomorrow. None of us do, me included. We don't own tomorrow. Tick tock, tick tock. How long do you have left? Every second that passes us by is a second that we will never get back. There is nothing you can do or anyone can do to turn back time. So how long are we going to keep doing what we don't love to do, thinking that we own tomorrow, thinking that we're going to live a long life? That's a gift. It's called the present for a reason. It's a gift. It's something we should unwrap and unpack and live to its absolute fullest, because it is the present. It is a gift. Can someone just pop a message in just to make sure that everything's good with the sound and the video? I'm pretty sure it is on my end, but just want to check in. The other thing I want you to be aware of is that fear, the word fear, that we've all been groomed and conditioned through society to be scared of things, fear actually means false evidence appearing real. It's actually something that we've fabricated in our own mind and we've created in our own head that's not even a real thing. Fear is something that we have produced by ourselves, and it's something that can literally hold you back and sabotage you from all the things that are possible for you. And that's a scary place to be. And procrastination is another thing that I have to ask you. Are you letting procrastination hold you back? Are you letting it win? Procrastination is evil. It allows you to think that you have to make everything perfect before you step forward. It allows you to have everything in order, all your ducks in a row before you move forward, and that's not ever going to happen. There is never also going to be a perfect time to do anything, because that's just life. We have to do what we can with the tools that we have right now that are available to us, and from there we'll make it work. And then when we get better and know more and do and trust ourselves more, we will then find a way to improve and then keep going and keep growing and keep moving forward. There's never a perfect time. So don't let procrastination of your own fears or own wanting to have everything tied up, your own perfection, don't let it stop you from moving forward, because you only have now. If there are things you've been holding off to do, start doing them. If anyone is having any problems with their screen, one of the participants tonight just suggested that you refresh your screen and it will pop back up. But I think everyone that's messaged me, it's all good. Okay, so let's move on to point number 2. So when I talked about earlier, I believe that the clues are hidden when you get lost in your own bubble. So what do I mean by this? Lost in your own bubble. Your bubble is the place that you go to that you feel safe and excited at the same time. When you do get a few hours or a day to yourself and there's no one at you, no one kind of chasing you, no kids looking for you, it's your quiet time. What is it that you would do that you absolutely love to do, and literally hours will go past and you will look at the clock and go, oh my gosh, it's 4 hours later. You didn't take a break. You didn't go to the bathroom. You didn't check your phone. You didn't jump on Facebook. You didn't do any of those distraction things that we normally do when we're doing something we don't love because we're trying to escape it. And you wake up and you sit up from that moment, whatever you've been doing, and you go, wow, where did that time go? That's when you're in your bubble. That's a clue that you are in your bubble. It's what you enjoy doing. If you were to daydream about your job, daydream about something you absolutely love to do, what would you daydream about? So write these things down, and then hopefully when you finish tonight, you've got some time to go through them. But if not, try and do them in the next day or so. You will get a recording, so if you want to listen to it again, you can. But what do you daydream about? If you could literally look out your window and picture what you would be doing and how and with who and who's around you at the time and what are you wearing, where are you, what would you be daydreaming about? Do you feel guilty for feeling happy? Now, this is a really big clue. If you have found something you love to do and you start feeling guilty about it, it's quite possible that that is actually what you really love to do within your bubble, and you are worried about how other people are going to judge you or comment on it. So you start feeling guilty about feeling happy. And that's something that we have to shift you from. Because if they're feelings you're having, it means you're actually cheating yourself. It means that you're not being true to what your true gifts are, and you're trying to compromise and please someone else. And that's a pattern that we all have to break. And do people tell you sometimes to stop dreaming? It could have been parents or teachers or a boss or someone at some point in your life that when you found yourself caught up in your own bubble, they say to you, oh, wake up, stop dreaming. That's never going to happen. Oh, wishful thinking, or yeah, right, that only happens for the rich and famous. Any of those comments, if they resonate with you, it's quite likely that that moment when that person said it to you, you were in your own bubble. So if you can recount times that you were in that space, write them down. What were you thinking about? What were your inner thoughts? Has your bubble burst? So many clients I've talked to that they tell me about stories of their childhood. They tell me about times that they would play for hours on end doing what they love to do, either holding a carrot up in their garden, using it as a microphone and pretending to sing on a stage, or rolling around on the grass and swinging from trees, pretending that they were acrobat in a circus. These are things that they love to do, and as a child, they were fearless. And at that stage, they probably didn't have a lot of people telling them that they couldn't do it. Unfortunately, as we get older and we go through life and society, there's always someone ready with a pin to burst our bubble. And then they tell us to wake up and stop dreaming. And that's where we've gone wrong. Then we start to doubt ourselves and let fear kick in, because we start to think, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not really good at it. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe I need to wait until my kids are older. All the excuses around fear come up. So just ask yourself the question, has your bubble burst? So moving on to step 3, I really want you to make sure that you take this point away with you tonight, and don't take tomorrow for granted. It really is a gift. With all the things that are happening in the world at the moment, no one knows if they're going to wake up tomorrow. No one knows what's going to happen. Unfortunately, there's so many things going on at the moment, and a lot of them are out of our control. And we just don't know what tomorrow holds. So please make sure that you seize the moment, seize the day, carpe diem. Make sure that you are living in the moment. What are your secret thoughts? What are your secret plans that you jot down in your little notebook? What are your secret desires of one day when I have XYZ ticked off, or how much money in the bank, or whatever it is you say to yourself, what are you going to do? Are you going to move overseas and open a bed and breakfast? Are you going to start a horse riding farm? Are you going to start running cooking classes because your passion is cooking? Do you love sewing and you want to teach people how to sew and make their own clothes and create their own fashions? What are your one-day statements? What are the things you say to yourself? One day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. I used to be the queen of one day. I would tell people all the time when we lived in Thailand. Then we moved to the Middle East and I opened my own spa in the desert, and I would tell my clients, one day I'm going to open an orphanage in Thailand for 20 little girls under the age of 5. And I would tell that to anybody who would stand still long enough, one day. And all those one day statements were false promises because I didn't draw a line in the sand and say, this day on this date is one day. That's the day my orphanage will open. So I want to ask you what one day statements you're making that you really need to put a deadline on. And are you one of those people like I was that if this happens, then I can insert dream or goal? If this happens, then I can. Do you place it based on if something happens, then something else happens? What if it were possible to have your cake and eat it too? What if there was actually a way that you could have everything you wanted in your life all at the same time? You don't have to wait for one thing to happen for something else to happen. It is possible because I help clients do it all the time, and it's something that I've been able to create myself. We want to create this ripple effect. I call it the happiness wheel. It's incredibly contagious and very, very infectious. When someone's happy, if you turn up to an event or you're out somewhere and you meet someone and they're extremely happy, they're bubbly, they're excited, they've got this incredible energy, it does create a ripple effect. It rubs on to the person next to them. It rubs on to then people that you know, and also then people that they know. And that's a happiness wheel that keeps on spinning. But guess what? That happiness wheel can't start spinning until you have found your purpose in life, because someone needs to start it. So I had to find my true purpose in life, my gift, my genius zone, before I can now help you. And you have to find yours before you can help your friend or colleague. And that's how this ripple effect will continue. And that's how we together can create the Y tribe around the globe of people living and helping other people find their purpose in life. And what do you write in your diary? So your secret diary, what is it that you write in there? I want you just to write these things down, which I'm sure you've done now, and make sure that you come back to it later or tomorrow and actually go through these steps, because these are the things that are going to give you the clues as to what your purpose in life is. So number 4, this is a big one. And this is sometimes hard for people to comprehend and hard for people to take on board, because often, as I said earlier, we deflect positive comments. And to put this into context, because I'm just checking the attendance list, I'm pretty sure all of you, yes, all of you on this live webinar are women. So I know this for women because I used to be an image consultant and personal stylist, and I used to do this myself before I went into that industry. So you'd turn up somewhere and someone would say, oh, wow, I love that dress, Shah, you look gorgeous. And the first thing out of our mouths would be, oh, what, this old thing? Oh, thanks, but I got it at an op shop, or I've had this for years and it's faded, or see this tear in it. We would automatically deflect the positive comment and give them reasons of why they shouldn't have said that. It's human being, it's human nature, I mean, to do that, because we just can't ever say the word thank you. So what I've practiced over the last few years when someone says something like that is not to find the bad in what they've said. I actually just say thank you. And I don't tell them the history on it. I don't tell them how much I paid and where I got it and what's wrong with it and how it makes me feel I look in it. I don't say any of that. I just say thank you. So when someone pays you a compliment from now on, I just want you to say the words thank you. I want you, as part of your home play after this webinar, and again, I can't call it work because it should be fun. So your home play is to ask 5 people what they like about you the most. And if you ask five people, the key to doing this exercise is you must do it all on the same day and make one phone call after the other, because otherwise your brain and our self-doubt will start to kick in. And if everybody, which they probably will, and I've done this exercise with clients many times, and the results are pretty much always the same. When you ring 5 people that know, love and trust you, friends, family, partners, whoever, but you call them back to back, one after the other, they will all say very, very similar things about you. They will say what they like about you or what they love about you is X, Y, and Z. And when you call all these people straight after each other, you're going to confirm to yourself that there's no way they could have all talked to each other in those last few seconds. It's physically not possible. That's where you're going to start to build up the belief that what they're saying is true. Also want you to ask your peers what they think is your best skill. Because again, we respect our peers because they're on a similar journey to us. They're in a similar industry or space, and they will be able to see the great things in us that we can't see. Also, to go through your old school reports and look at the comments from teachers, because there will be some patterns that you'll find in your old school reports. And this is a fascinating exercise, and I really hope some of you do it, but then I really also hope that some of you send me an email or tell me on our Facebook group what you found. As every time I hear from a client about this, they are absolutely astounded, because it's often that their school teacher has spotted these gifts and this genius zone within you at that young age. And then when you look through your ideas book and the things that you would love to do, it's often related to the skills that your teachers saw in you way back then. What did your childhood friends say you were good at? Because often your friends, even at that young age, would have said things like, oh, you're so good on a skateboard, or gee, you're a good dancer, or wow, you've got a really good singing voice. But because we're young and we don't know how to accept that information and we don't trust it, we deflect it again. And what comments have you heard for years, but you kept saying, oh, no, I'm not really good at that? Another deflection. Have a think about them, and you might find again that there's a pattern of comments that have been made to you over the years. Like I was told in my school days that I was great at connecting people. And again, I found this in my school reports. I would, if someone was looking for a friend, I would walk the school grounds, I would walk around the school complex looking for that friend to say, hey, Julie's looking for you and she needs help with this. I loved connecting people way back then. And it's interesting now that I run a network group on the east coast of Australia and connect business owners based on what their needs are and help them. So it's no mistake that I'm in the industry that I'm in. Stop holding yourself back, please. Stop holding yourself back. There are so many amazing things that you should be and could be doing if you just stopped procrastinating and letting fear hold you back. So please stop doing that. And number 5, this is your genius zone. So what is a genius zone? Your genius zone is essentially something that if I put you into a pot and put you on the stove and boiled you, the essence of who you are would steam off you. And that essence is something that's been uniquely gifted to you and no one else. There is no one else on this planet that has the same skill set with your style, with your personality, with your energy level, with your passion, with your enthusiasm that you do. You have been gifted this. And even though some of my clients say to me, oh, but Shah, someone else does the same thing I do, so what? So many people do the same work that I do. There's so many people play in this same space, but there is only one me. There is only one me doing this particular gift that I have and sharing it with others. There's only one me that has the Indian jokes that I add when I'm on stage. There's only one me that's opening an orphanage as part of my purpose in life and my goal. So that makes the work, if you call it work, the work that I do so unique to me And it makes the things that you do so unique to you. There is only one you. And that gift, stop comparing with other people and stop listening and stop saying, oh, but someone else already did that, so what? You have a gift, you have a genius zone, and it's time we find it and then share it with others. Because one thing I know, and I absolutely, hand on heart, would vouch this to the grave, there are people waiting for you to step up, live in your genius zone, because they are waiting for those gifts to be shared with them. You are the medicine. They are sick in their own life, and you are the medicine. So when you start to feel that you want to get in your own way, and you start to feel that you have self-doubt and worry about if you're good enough, know that every day those people that are waiting for you to step up are getting sicker and sicker. Imagine if I didn't do the work I do. My goal is to help 8,883 people in 8 years around the globe find and live their true purpose in life. So that's 8,883 people who won't be sick anymore, that will be living their purpose in life. And that's why I continue to do these webinars, so that the information I give in tonight's webinar is really enough for you to get a bit of an idea about what you're meant to be doing. And if that helps you find your purpose, I can tick you off that list and I get closer to reaching my goal. I've given you a little bit of medicine tonight to move forward. You are the medicine to so many people. And the moment that you get out of your own way, all of your clients and all the people that are sick and ready to be healed by are waiting to come in. I want you to think about this question really deeply, and probably better to write it down and do it after we finish, so I'm not distracting you with my voice. But if there was a natural disaster in your area and an announcement went over the PA system and everyone was asked to come to the local school to offer their skills, so there is no time to think about what you're wearing, what your hair looks like, what shoes you've got on, what fears may come up for you. If you're good enough, there's no time for any of that. This is a natural disaster, and they need everyone to come to the school now to donate their skill set based on what they are incredibly talented at. What service would you offer them? This is an extremely powerful question, one that I definitely recommend you do not underestimate. And don't rush to answer. Take your time to write it down, and when we finish the webinar, if you're game enough, I would absolutely love to hear from you on what your skill is. Because when you remove all of those procrastinational things out of your life, and take it back to that pointy moment where there's a natural disaster and nothing else matters but helping people based on what you're good at doing, what would that be? What are the things that you can do that literally take you minutes, that take other people you know hours to put together? And it's something that you've had people comment on when you've done that before. You've had people say to you, how did you do that so fast? Start to take note of these things and write them down, because here are the clues of where your genius zone lies. When someone says something is really hard to do, on the inside when they're saying that, do you have a little voice in your head that says, not for me, it isn't? There's nothing wrong with that, but I want you to start listening to your inner chatter. When someone says, oh God, this is so hard for me to put this website, WordPress website together and do these plugins, and inside your own head, if that's you and you're a computer person, do you say, oh, not for me, it isn't, that takes me a few minutes? Again, you're starting to find out what you're good at. And when your friends ask for a favor from you, what is the common trend? So think back to the phone calls that you've received over the years, and your friends ring you up and say, hey, listen, I really need a favor. Can you help me with this? Because remember, they can see what your skill sets are what your genius zone is, they can see all of that. So when a friend, if you were thinking now about a friend, you would be able to list all of their key points and all their genius zones and all their skill sets offhand. You probably reel off 5 things that you know about your friend that they're really good at. Oh, yeah, Christine, gee, she's a good organizer. If I'm having a party, I always ring her because she's so organized. Or Julie, I always ring Julie when I want to go out because she just knows the right places to go and which restaurants are really good. And for Brian, I call if I have a computer problem. Oh, he's so good at it. Like, I can spend hours trying to work it out, but I ring Brian and in 2 minutes he's figured it out for me. He just gets that sort of stuff. So remember, what you see in your friends so easily and so fast, they probably won't agree with you. They probably won't recognize that it is their genius zone. They probably won't recognize and accept that they are good at it because it's their gift. They don't recognize it. And guess what also happens? They don't value it. When something comes so naturally to us and so easy, what we do is place a lower price on it. Because we think if something only takes us a few minutes to do, how can I charge $1,000 for it? But what we need to understand is the person that you're delivering it to and helping will pay you $1,000 for it because for them, it's not their skill set. It's not their genius zone. So they will happily pay someone the money to get it done and fix it because it's not something that they want to get involved in or they're good at doing. So if you had to think about the friends that have called you over the years, even in the last few months, and said, hey, I want to ask a favor. What is the next question off their lips? That will start to point you in the direction of what your genius zone is. And guys, look, overall, I mean, some of you probably have an inkling, and I'm sure that some of you will have a bit of an understanding of, okay, I know I'm good at this, I know I'm good at that. I've had people ask questions before, and if you have questions, please ask them in the chat box and we can chat through them in the last few minutes. But I've had people say to me before, yeah, but Shara, I'm really good at bookkeeping, but it's not my passion. And so does that mean it's my why? Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that it's your why, your real purpose in life. It does mean that it's one of your gifts. And maybe the gift and the genius zone or the passion around the work isn't so much in doing their books if you're really good at it and it's fast. Maybe your passion lies in teaching them how to do it. So it could be an inkling into moving you forward into what you are actually meant to be doing. But just because you're good at it doesn't mean that it is your purpose in life. So you do need to know the difference. And in the online Purpose Finder course and at the Y Weekend, I do take my clients through how to decipher what is the process. And it's unfortunately not something I can fit obviously into an hour webinar, but it is something that you need to look at, because just because you're good at it, it doesn't mean that it's your calling. It doesn't mean that it's a reason that you were born. So we do need to make sure that we know the difference. Otherwise, you'll go build a whole business around bookkeeping because you think that that's your purpose in life, when actually it might be about training other bookkeepers or training your clients how to read their books. It could be something to do with that, but not exactly that. So again, there are no magic pills in life, and I just want to make sure that you don't jump off the webinar and start a bookkeeping business because it's what you're good at doing. So knowing your genius zone is one thing, but then it's connecting your genius zone with your bubble, with your circle, with your passion. It's connecting all of those things that I've talked about tonight together. It's connecting all of your skills to create the perfect life and the reason that you're here. It's all of those things. It's not just the one. So just be mindful that you don't just go and do the one thing and go, well, that must be it. It's probably not going to be. So it's a matter of connecting them all together. So if anyone has any questions, please jot them down in the box. But otherwise, in just a moment, I'll be jumping over to our closed Facebook group, which I'll invite you over into just a second. But I do want to just bring up something really quickly before we wrap up. And I hope that some of these points tonight have been helpful to you in just making you press pause on the treadmill of your own life just long enough to take a moment and ask yourself these questions and go through the exercises that I've suggested tonight in the webinar, because you will be amazed. And it's funny when sometimes, and I know I do this as well, when we listen to something on a webinar, we think, yeah, I've done that before. But I just want to encourage you, if you've spent the time on the webinar tonight, please just write those things down and do them, because the magic is in the doing, not the learning. Knowledge is wonderful, but knowledge is absolutely useless unless you do something with it. It's the action that you take from this webinar that is going to give you the result that I really desperately want for you. I just want more people on this planet to wake up. Instead of New Year's resolutions, because I don't believe in them, I chose 2 words for 2015, and my 2 words are global awakening. The reason I chose those 2 words together was that because my hope this year, as I'm starting to branch into international markets and doing some speaking overseas as well, is I want to help wake up people on the globe. People that are meant to be part of my global Y tribe. People that are looking for their purpose in life and are wondering if there is more out there. I want to help them wake up and press pause on the treadmill so they stop running in their life just for a moment, long enough to actually ask themselves, am I even running in the direction that I want to run in? Am I even on the right treadmill? How many people do you meet that have done the same thing for over and over and over and over again for years? They're miserable and they'll constantly complain about their life, but they've done nothing about pressing pause and hopping off. They've done nothing about finding their purpose in life. And guys, we really do have one life, one purpose. And that's why I called this webinar, One Life, One Purpose. We don't get another life that we know about. And I personally believe, and I'm extremely passionate about this, that we really are only born for one reason. There is one gift that we have been given. We weren't just born because of a mistake and, oh, whoops, you know, this human being has been delivered to this planet just to serve, just to work every day, just to wash the dog and wash the clothes and pick the kids up from school and do all of those mundane things. We weren't born just for that and then we die. No way. I'm passionate about the fact that every one of us, every one of you, have been born because there is something incredible about your skill and your gift that only you have the power to unleash. And you are the medicine to so many people that need to play in your world. Now, the one thing I want to add to this is that we all have our own world that we play in. So there are people that will really resonate with you and your genius zone and your why, and they will want to be part of your tribe. And you won't be able to stop them from being part of everything that you do, every part of your being. They will be infatuated with you and want to do everything that you're doing and be around you all the time. And I have been blessed and honestly pinch myself daily with the tribe that I've been able to create in the last few years of people who literally everything I do, they're there to support and they're part of it because I know that they're meant to be in my world. I also know that I'm not meant to help everybody on the planet. I know that there are a section of people out there, and it does happen to be primarily women, that are looking for more in their life. They've sacrificed a lot of their time to raise their family and raise their children and groom their household to be what it is today. And that's incredible. And that takes an amazing skill. And I love that. And I've done that myself as well. But then they also get to a point where they wake up and go, well, my kids don't need me as much anymore. So what about me? When is it my turn? And I know that those people on the planet are waiting for me to step up and start sharing my story more globally because they're waiting for me to give them the medicine that they need. So for me to play small, for me to play in my comfort zone, for me to play in my place of fear serves nobody. It doesn't serve me and it certainly doesn't serve them. And I won't do it. Because if I stay in my comfort zone, my orphanage in Thailand will never open because the magic is outside of your comfort zone. So my global awakening words for 2015 are to awake the people on the globe who are ready for my medicine. So I want to encourage you, if you don't have words for 2015, and they can be just one word, they could be a sentence, but find something that resonates with you on how you're going to play a bigger game this year and set your intentions around it. And please, if you'd love to share it with me, I would be honored to read it and have a chat to you about it. So I would love you to be part of the Y Tribe. The Y Tribe is literally just a community, and there will be a membership site launching in a couple of weeks' time at $4 a week. But just to keep people in the space of positivity, surrounded by other people around the world who are dedicated and passionate about helping themselves find and stay on track to live their purpose in life, their why, but also passionate and committed to helping other people do the same thing. So I'd love to give you a free checklist which follows up from tonight's webinar. It's a free checklist. All you have to do is jump onto the purposefinder.com.au web /purposefinder1, and that will enable you to grab a free checklist which will be sent to you straight away. And that checklist will take you through a number of different questions, extra from what you've learnt tonight, to help you see if you're on track. So jump onto that and grab your checklist. For those that are interested in doing the course straight away, just go on to purposefinder.com.au, or at least watch the video. The video will be there for you to watch. It's only a few minutes long, but if you find that video works for you, if you find that video really speaks to you and connects to you to the heart, then you might find that the course is for you. And we still have some of the $147 courses left out of that first 100 that I launched. There are still some left, so jump on those if you want to before the price goes up. And I would really encourage you all as well, if anyone wants to or prefers to come to the workshop live, it's 2 days, incredible environment down on the Gold Coast at Sanctuary Cove. You're surrounded by other ladies and men, all there for the same reason, like incredible participants that turn up. Day one is all about going through your why in a lot more detail. And day two is all the business strategies that you need to help you turn your passion into profit. So I don't think there's any questions coming through on here that I can see unless I've missed them. So if there are any questions or any thoughts you've got, come across to the Facebook group. I want to find my purpose in life. That's what the group's called. I've got a post in there that's pinned at the top for tonight's webinar. I would love to hear from you. I'd love you just to tell me what you thought of the webinar, if there's anything that you would have liked to see, if there's any questions you've got, if there was any aha moments that you had after the webinar or during it when I was talking that made you kind of go, wow, I never looked at it like that, or that was a great idea. I would love some feedback. So webinars are great, but for anyone who runs them, you don't get any feedback. You can't see the audience's eyes. There's no feedback to tell me what's going on. So I would love you to jump over to the Facebook page, and I'm going to spend about 30 minutes there now answering any questions. If you would prefer and you've got some questions that you have that are a bit more private and you'd like to have a chat with me, please just send me a private message and I'll have a chat with you. But guys, just to wrap up, I just want to say that it's really important that we don't take life for granted. And I think if you look within your own life, either personally around you, or maybe there's friends that have told you recently that someone they know just passed away, either in an accident or something happened, or they were unwell and they just found out they didn't have long to live and now they're gone. And I just want to encourage you that don't take tomorrow for granted. Mark Twain has a beautiful quote, and he says the two most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you know why. So I really want to encourage you to start to look at your life in a whole different way after tonight, and ask yourself questions as you're going through what you're going through. Ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? Start putting yourself first. So the Facebook group for people that want to know it is on the last slide, and it's called I Want to Find My Purpose in Life. So I look forward to seeing you over there. Thank you all so, so much for giving up your time to be on the webinar. I know it's an hour of your life that's just passed you by. So really do hope that you got something out of it and that you will take some of those points and do some of those exercises. And more importantly, really do go through the whole process of either the online course or the workshop to really nail it down of why you are here and what your medicine is so that you can start helping other people. Thank you all so much, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now.